Okay, so today we're talking about best skins to rent on LootBear. This isn't specifically like I'm going to show you a few skins that you should rent. This is like finding them and how you find them, because with every skin, sometimes there's deals, sometimes there's not. I'm going to make this pretty fast, just so people don't get bored. Alright, so number one, the first thing that I always have is use a good site to buy. Never buy on the Steam market, because it should be pretty obvious that you're just going to lose money like that instantly. So I use a site like Bitskins. You can also use a site like Skinport. I typically just prefer Bitskins because it has a super easy to use marketplace, and if you go to like balance, you can like buy coupons by doing this, coupon codes. You can also use cards, but you have to do the KYC procedure, so that's like filling out bank info and everything like that, so they know you're an actual person. That's just for legal reasons. And number two, once you have your site, there are like three main factors that determine if your skins will be rented. Price, so that's like rent price, type, and finish of the item. So what I mean by type, like say you're looking for a knife, I would say go for, like, if you have the money, buy a Karambit or like an M9, because those are two of the top knives. However, I wouldn't say go for a butterfly knife, because typically they're too expensive for people to actually rent on LootBear with their subscription. But of course, then after you find your type of knife that you actually want to like get, next comes finish. So of course, Doppler is the best finish. If you can get like a Karambit Doppler, M9 Doppler with like an okay float, float doesn't have to matter too much, because otherwise you're gonna overpay if you like focus too much on a good float. It doesn't matter that much. People will rent it. They like Dopplers. So of course, find a good knife and then find a good finish on it. Typically, and if you can get Doppler, do that. All right. Now, and going on that price, I'm not talking buy price. I'm talking rent price. Now you may be wondering, how do I find that? Okay, so we're just going to use this. We're not going to use a Doppler, actually. We're going to use these Moto Gloves Polygon. So 580 on here. You want to look here. You want to look at the rent price. So then put whatever the name of the item is, just like copy, paste it in here. It doesn't really matter what you click on there, just get the skin. Here's how you find the rent price. You come down here, these are the rent prices. So minimal wear, that is the actual rent price of the item. So you can get up to 3% of that item monthly from renting. I probably get like 1.8% or 2% rather. So that is how you find the rent price. So stick in, like, I'd say this is my preferred range is $400 to $1,000 of rent price, not actual buy price. So ignore these numbers over here. Just like you're gonna want to look at those for like the wear. Okay, future I know be cool here. Just remember that the rent price is typically higher than the actual buy price if you're buying correctly. So just keep that in mind. Like, don't just go off of this. Of course, Okay, bye bye again. All right, and then the actual type of like the best thing that you can get for renting on LootBear, and here's like the really big part. Gloves are the best thing you can rent on LootBear. Like a nice pair of gloves, not too expensive, of course. Stick in that price range. You're really, if once you exceed that, or like going below is okay, but if you exceed that $1,000, you're not going to get that many rents. But so put like, I'd say like I like to put a price max of $700, and then do type any. Just go to gloves, and now you may be wondering why gloves. It's pretty simple, actually. If you can find like a nice looking pair of gloves, just like, let's say sports gloves Scarlet Chama. Now these are pretty overpriced, I think. If you could, like, let's go to actually my inventory right now and just look. I have the Scarlet Chama gloves, and they rent for about $400. So like it's basically in my price range, for the actual rent price. And gloves, like, people keep them for a long time, so you're not getting a return. So once they return them, you have 7 days of no one renting your item. That's what you want to try and avoid. You want to have skins that people will keep for a long time, and just like keep like renting even once they're returned. Like, these were rented for like 2 weeks straight, and then I also had like another pair of gloves that I used to own that I decided to sell, which was a pretty dumb move. Were rented for like 2 months straight. Like, just stick in a nice pair of gloves. Like, find an okay float. I like to stick in the field tested typically, because Otherwise, sometimes middleware gloves get like way too expensive, and you just cannot like actually rent them because then they exceed the price, like the rent price. But so stick in that price range or the rent price. If you can get like a nice pair of gloves, like I think that the Scarlet Shaman are awesome. But if you find like Cobalt Skulls, let's go check this actually. In this, like now you basically you can just end the video, but I'm just gonna show you like why these are good. So let's see where those were, or like field tested. Okay. Wait, why did it not come up with Cobalt Skulls? Okay. Oh wait, it did. Okay. Well, now I don't need them. All right. So field tested, rent price of $600. That is not bad, and people like to rent these for a long time because look, that's a nice looking pair of like gloves right there. People like to keep those for like longer periods of time. So I say get gloves. Now they may not be like the most like cool thing to own a ton of gloves, but if you're really like serious about having this as an investment like LootBear and renting skins, gloves are definitely the way to go. Don't get too hung up on wear value, like stick and field tested. I wouldn't like overpay too much for like a nice float. People are just going to keep them. Of course, don't have them be absolute garbage like in Battlescar, but just gloves, stick in the $400 to $1,000 price range, and have a good float if you can find it for a good price. That's really it. That's all I wanted to say. That like this is really like everything that you're really going to need to know if you want to make like the most profit. So knives are okay, just gloves are definitely my go-to investment. I own a few knives, but I'm starting to buy more gloves rather than knives. So I hope you have enjoyed. I hope this helps you like inform your rental process and like buying skins. So yeah, have a great day. Bye-bye.